What's going on, everybody? Forgiving Boutique here, and we will be doing our first sneaker review. We will be reviewing the 2015 Remastered edition of the Air Jordan Retro 8 Aquas and comparing them alongside the 2007 Retros. First things first, let's talk about the boxes. Now, this is the 2007 box, or the third generation Air Jordan Retro box, or Jordan brand box. Featured the kind of the grayish black paneling on the top, sides. Flaps had the edges of the flaps had the kind of the grayish silver with the chromed out, a little chromed out Jordan 6 rings logo. It's also featured larger on the other side. See that there, and the embossed stripe print. We call it print, but the paneling on the bottom there. Here goes the 2015 5th generation, I believe, Air Jordan box, retro remastered boxes, which is a matte black box with gold emblems, featured on the far right corner 23, on the top Jumpman, and another Jumpman on the rear. Now, the 2015 Remastered edition did feature a retro card. I thought it was a little thin. It is like photo paper, to be exact. It's glossy, fairly thin and flexible, until I pulled out the 2007 edition, and it's pretty much identical. Other retro cards featured a heavier cardstock, but this one was pretty thin, a little flimsy. I mean, it's a small detail, but it was just something to take note of, and they're pretty much identical, as mentioned. Here's the interesting thing: the 2015 edition also went up to the 22, which was the current Air Jordan in 2007, which I found interesting. Instead of updating it up to the current, I guess they would have had to completely redo everything on the back of the card as probably another row or whatever. But yeah, pretty much identical. It might just be just a complete reprint of that file or that artwork from 2007. Let's talk about the midsole. So here's the 2015 edition, and you'll notice the big thing is the glittery speckled midsole, and that's been much talked about. Not everybody digs it. Some say it's just too much, but it is true to 1993. It is consistent with that look. It might just be a hair more glittery, but the 1993 did have a glittery midsole, or the original 1993. See that there on the medial. Now, the purple, or the Concord, doesn't have, it's not a flat purple finish, flat solid color. It's actually metallic purple. You'll see it's matted. It's not high gloss, and I'll show you in a second the 2007. So the purple, matted, Concord matted with metallic paint with a glitter flecks all throughout. And then the Aqua, the head of the Aqua there is matted on the medial. Let's take a look at the 2007. Now, the 2007, it's purple, the Concord, but here's the thing, that it does have a little glitter to it. It's not as intense as the 2015 Remastered, but it is there. It's something you won't notice just by glancing at it. You'll have to look at it at eye level, pick up the shoe to your eye and look at it in light, and you'll see a little glitter there. It's not metallic, and it does have a high gloss finish. The Aqua there is matted. We don't have a 1993 edition on our hands. They're kind of hard to come by, the original, but take my word for it. It looks a lot like the 2015, matted, metallic with a little glitter, or with glitter. So back to this, and you'll see on the other side, the medial, high gloss, and you'll see it's got some cracking. Got quite a bit of cracking, and is what happens with a lot of midsoles that are painted, is they will crack over time with creasing, just general wear and tear. It's a little more gnarlier there. So yeah. I'm kind of comparing with a little side by side. Oh, you can see that there. The light's a little bright, but we're gonna work with it. And as you see, it's kind of like leaving some of the paint's coming off. And here's one thing I almost forgot to talk about was the midsole artwork. And this is like the centerpiece, one of the centerpieces of the Retro 8, or actually the Jordan 8 silhouette. This is artwork. And this was the same artwork that's on pretty much most of them. Then there's two. There was the one that was featured on the playoffs, original I should say, playoffs, and this one was the same as the Bugs Bunny, but we're talking about the Aqua 8. And this is the one thing that hasn't changed. This is true, the 2015, 2007, it's all the same, nothing changed with this. The colors are the same. Here is the 2015 on the inside. Here's the 2007. And the other side, yeah, nothing's really changed. Pretty much the same. And now the heel. This one is the 2007 edition. First things first is the change in gray. This one, the 2007, featured a more charcoal, darker gray. The 1993 had a lighter tone, almost like a flint gray. Not so dark. This one's almost black. You can see there. Now, focus a little more. There we go. Now the upper is mostly made with the Durabuck material. This one isn't so much a suede, but it's a little more like a heavier grain Durabuck. So it's not quite natural. It's definitely synthetic. You'll see there a little darker. We'll look at the heel and the medial. And the other thing is kind of a deeper, more pronounced ridges all throughout. That's consistent to the 1993, but the 2015 didn't feature that. The 2015 actually is a little lower, like it's not as pronounced, they're not as thick, these ridges all throughout. And the 2015 had a lighter tone. It's just a shade lighter than the 1993, but it's definitely a little more true. I personally like it, the colors pop out more, there's more contrast, which I like. And we'll compare them side by side. And you'll see here, this one's a little lower, this one's a little more pronounced. Fascinating, huh? And here goes the 2015 edition remastered, and you'll see it's switched up quite a bit. And this is consistent to the 1993 original. Colors, designs are all the same, it's just the coloring is switched around. I personally think it looks better. So you have a little more purple, and you'll have this, which is not yellow or red. It is kind of like an orangey yellow. I think it looks better, it pops better, and it kind of goes together with the full scheme of things. Actually, let me show you it side by side. So you see that there. Oh, and another thing, we noticed that the 2015, this little strip that goes from the toe all the way through to the arch, it's a little more bluish in tint. It's not so much the aqua tone that you see here. And this is actually a little, it's not consistent with the 2007 or the 1993. This was a little more bluish. It's brighter, it's not as dull as the others, but it's a noticeable change. Here goes the 2007 And you see it's a little more, well, with age, it's got a little darker. See that there? And now moving on to the straps. The strap on the 2007 had a glossier finish. That is not consistent to 1993 original or the 2015 remastered. It's glossier and a little more angular. The Air Jordan that is printed on the strap is a little sharper. It varies, I noticed, but that is not consistent to 1993 or 2015. 2015 had a little more of a, not as sharp, they're a little more kind of like a softer embossed look. See that there, and the other side. Here goes the 2015. And you'll see it is more rounded, not as angular. Doesn't have that little like bend there. It's still bent, but it's not as sharp. And it's definitely a matted look, matted finish, paint finish, which is consistent to 1993. And you'll notice the Air Jordan text on there. The letters are not as sharp. Now, the one thing that didn't really change much was the toe box. The 2007 edition you'll see here still featured the Durabuck, soft black Durabuck. 2015 featured the same material. Nothing really changed in color, shade, feel. It's pretty identical. Here you'll see the gray right on the toe box that kind of goes from the heel right under the straps, and that's something that changed too. This one's a little more pointier, angular. It's true to 1993. 2007 was a little more rounded, and as you can see, it was more that darker gray tone. That is not consistent, as obviously. And now we'll move from the strap, from the heel strap over to the midfoot. Didn't change much from 1993 to 2007 down to the 2015. Just a small change. The 2007, it does have that outline. I believe the 1993 did have an outline as well. But the 2007, the 23 is a little more angular and it pops out a little more. So it's a little more pronounced. Still the black Durabuck there, you'll see that. And let's look at the 2015. And here's the 2015, the 23 embossed, outlined a little bit, but the outline's not so noticeable. And this is probably a little closer to the 1993. The thing is that this one is angled, or the 2007 and the 2015. The 23 is angled a little bit. The original didn't angle it so much, so it's kind of sitting flush right in the center. You'll see it just kind of like turn a little more clockwise. Small detail, but still a small detail most people won't notice. And now we take a look at a little more of the upper, in this case the toe box. The toe box and most of this upper is a black Durabuck, kind of soft. Nothing really changed between 1993 to 2007 and 2015. They're pretty much all identical. And you can see here, still the same black Durabuck upper. They crease pretty easy. I've worn these only once and creased a little, and I really don't crease my shoes much. And here's one thing you'll notice is this little gray ridge here, a little more angular. It kind of points out a little more. That's true to 1993. 2007 was a little more rounded, and also that darker gray. let's take a look under the straps. Under the strap of the 2015 was a little more of a leather, kind of a synthetic leather. This doesn't feel natural leather. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it. And here you'll see more of that lighter gray tone going underneath the laces, or underneath the straps. So yeah, a little more of like a sheened synthetic, like a light sheen synthetic leather. To be honest, I'm not sure what 1993 featured. That was one detail I did not notice. So forgive me, please. And here we take a look at the understrap of the 2007, or at least the material underneath the strap. Still that leather, still synthetic. This one feels a little more natural, to be honest. It's a little more matted, not as shiny as the 2015. But it feels a little more natural. Like the grain, it's a little softer. It doesn't have that kind of plasticky feel to it, so it feels a little more natural. And here you'll see that darker gray kind of going underneath the strap. And now we move on to the tongue, and this is another memorable feature of the Jordan 8 line. See if we can catch it in the light. Right, here we go. And it does feature the chenille patch. The 2007 and 2015, the original 1993 had like a deeper chenille, like it kind of like puffed out over the little ring around there. Whereas the 2007 and the 2015 had this a little shorter. I personally like the shorter one just because you can see the jumping better in the ring. It's the wise choice, something to kind of tweak from the original. 2015, the colors are the same from the 1993 and 2007. The thing is the ring around it that's kind of sewn or embroidered. This one has that orange color that's kind of consistent to the bottom of the shoe. And this one's more true to 1993. Let me show you the 2007 retro. As you'll see there, this one has more yellowy, kind of a yellowish color around the ring. Colors are the same, chenille patch, shorter chenille, I guess, yarns, I don't know what you would call that, but anyway, chenille patch is shorter cut, yellow ring around it, which is the same tone that's on the heel or on the under the sole. So that was one thing that they changed. And next we'll look at the inner booty, or the heel portion. Here's something that did change from 2015. The one thing they didn't get right on the remastered edition was that this thing is kind of sitting lower. It doesn't sit higher up like the 1993 and 2007. Let me show you that. That was something I didn't like. I kind of liked it a little higher up. It was kind of puffed out. That's me personally, but I like the way it just kind of stood out a little more. And here, let me show you this one. And this one kind of, you see there, it definitely pops out a little more. It's a little wider, it's a little puffier, it's a little higher than the heel portion, the part that covers the ankles. See that? And here's something that did change too. The 2007, the inner booty, which is kind of Nike's trademark during the 90s, from the Huaraches and a lot of other shoes, and especially your Jordans. It's neoprene booty on the inside. This part is sewn down, as you'll kind of see there, like right in there. It's sewn down, and it just kind of sits there. I mean, it's cool. It's a small detail, and that's probably one thing that helped it kind of keep that height just true to the original. And look at the 2015. You'll see that's actually free floating. It's sewn down at the bottom, but you can kind of move it around. And it's sewn down in certain portions, but it's free floating, so it kind of moves around with you. Not too much where it's uncomfortable, but it's like a sock, which is the idea of the whole thing. And that's true to 1993. This portion was free floating. You can pretty much just stick your hand in there, and it's sewn down at the base. You can't see this, at least the lighting, and the way I have it set up. But it's sewn down at the base. And it mostly moves around. Still very comfortable. I personally like this. You'll notice this a little more with the 2015. Here's one thing I love that they brought back was the printed insole, the sock liner. This was found in the 1993, and really the only color that had that printed insole was the Air Jordan 8 was the Aqua. And I love that they brought that back. This was not on the 2007. 2007 was just a plain black insole with the red Jumpman on the heel. I'm not even going to show you that because it's not even interesting, and the Jumpman wore off in 2007. But this is an awesome detail they brought back, and it looks like it's sublimated on there. Doesn't look screen printed, but it's awesome. That's a detail they looked at and decided to bring back, and I love that. That's on there. It's glued down a little, so it took a little bit of elbow grease to pop it out. Gently pulled it out, and it sits right back in there. I pulled it out once already. Walked in it, and it was a little tough to pull out again, but you're fine to take it out if you want to look at it, and it'll pretty much, once you walk in it, it'll glue back down and stay secured. And in closing, final thoughts, I think the 2015 Remastered did a good job retroing the shoe, or Jordan Brand did a good job retroing and getting it true to the 1993 look. I think it's pretty spot on. A few things that need to get tweaked. Small details. I mean, overall, I'm not complaining about it. Midsole is true. Heel, which has the ridges, that's a small detail I kind of liked, was the more pronounced ridges. The original in 2007. Excuse me, the 2015 had the smaller ridges. They didn't poke out or stick out as much. They're a little thinner. Let's see. Getting a little out of focus there. All right. So, yeah, midsole paint true. Color is pretty true. I like the tongue to be a little higher up, but that's just me. Overall, I think it's pretty close. They got that right. They got the overall shape right, aside from the heel thing. That's another. I'll toss it out again. Tongue, the inner liner, which I said earlier was neoprene. It's actually nylon. Forgive me. But yeah, overall, I think they did a good job. It's comfortable. It's light. The thing is that the Air Jordan 8 was known to be a bit of a heavy shoe. So I think it's actually probably the best winter Air Jordan, or Jordan you could wear in the winter, aside from the Air Jordan 12. With all the materials, the weight of it, it's pretty sturdy. Problem was, for hooping purposes, probably not the best shoe or most comfortable shoe. Michael Jordan himself did suffer some athlete's foot in '93 wearing these, and that's due to the poor ventilation, weight, and it did increase a lot, or did get a lot, get pretty hot in there due to all the materials and all the layers. So thanks guys for watching. I probably repeated myself over and over, repeated words over and over. So forgive me, we're getting better at this. We'll probably write some scripts to get you better dialogue. But we're working at it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for bearing with us. I hope this video was informational to you, educational, and all that fun stuff. Comment down below if there's something you wanted to see from us. We'll be doing more reviews as we get more sneakers to review. Any other questions? If we got something wrong, let us know. We'll humbly agree and talk about it. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you later. God bless you. Peace.